Hey everybody, welcome to Carnabrin Plays Resident Evil 3 Remake. I am Carnabrin, and this is Resident Evil 3 Remake, and this is the third time I am recording audio for this particular video. So the first time the audio was scrambled, like the video was good, but the audio was so low that you couldn't hear it, so I had to re-record the video. Which that's what this is. I had decided to say I don't give a crap anymore and just use some weapons I had unlocked to make the run go a little faster, and just to show off some of the stuff you can unlock in this game. I decided to throw continuity out the window because I don't care anymore. Also, this is post game and. Well, you'll see what's coming up. So, watching me rummage around the hospital doesn't really matter so much anymore. So I recorded that, and then I forgot to hit the record button on the audio. So I have the video, but not the audio to that. So now here I am, a third time, quite frustrated, and quite have had enough of this. Doing the audio over a video that I already did. So now I'm just sitting watching myself play, recording audio to try and fix this travesty of a segment. Yeah. So anyway, super excited about that. So that's the Raiden. This gun I'm using now is the Raiden gun, and what it does is, besides looking kind of weird, it does massive damage to enemies, but only if you hit them in the weak points. So if you get headshots or you know, whatever their glowing weak spots are, it will do massive damage and kill them. The knife I have is the unlockable knife you get that puts enemies on fire. It's actually for nothing better than looking cool and doing kind of a cool dodge move. It doesn't really do that much extra damage. Like the fire does extra damage, but you won't notice it. So it's actually pretty lame. Yeah. So not the most exciting weapons to play with, although they look kind of cool. They're not super fun to play with. I guess the Raiden's okay because it does do massive damage. You just have to aim at the right spots. But the knife is basically just for looks. So there's Nikolaj. He has turned out the power, and now we must find the fuses. And here's me noticing a zombie there and blowing his head off. The Raiden taking him out in one shot. Yeah, so this is this is Resident Evil 3. I played it at this point, like I've beaten the game multiple times. I beat it on the hardest difficulty, which was annoying. I've unlocked all this stuff. I don't really want to talk about the game at this point. Like what I think of it, because we're still midway through, and you guys should at least see what's going on till the end. But this section is basically Nikolaj has put a bunch of enemies in our way. He's trying to funnel us into fighting them. I think at this point I'm not even playing on hardcore, because I didn't have a save ready at the point I was at. To go back to, so I was on standard close by this point, so I just figured I would just play standard and it wouldn't matter because I didn't care. You will see me finish the game in hardcore. You'll see my first because that the audio is okay, so you'll see that, but this is separate, more different. So anyway, looking for fuses. You have to like bring these elevators back up, and then fight these enemies that will appear on the other side. Excuse me. So about the redesign of Jill in this game, like she's kind of cool looking, but she's very like action hero-y. It makes more sense, I guess, with the stereotypical cop characters in movies and games. But the original Jill was not like such a badass. She was kind of like a nice person, which is a little weird to say. Like she had a little dog, and Chris was her buddy, and yeah, that's it. You know, she didn't swear. She just did her job, and she did it right. And she wasn't particularly... she wasn't much of a badass until after the mansion incident. Or she was, but she wasn't like a hard ass. You know, she wasn't like... Fuck you, motherfucker! Could blow your brains out. Like, she wasn't like that. Like, she was more actions instead of words, and I guess Capcom has tried to make her more stereotypical, which I guess they view as realistic. And they kind of hardened her up, and she's fucking cursing like me. every word out of her mouth. Which I get, it's okay. It's okay design. It's not bad. It's just like Capcom doesn't seem to know what they want these characters to be in the Resident Evil series. Like they're either changing the voice actors or changing the design of them constantly. This is really annoying. Like, there's no consistency. Like in Resident Evil 5, Jill is blonde I guess because she was expanded. Oh, see, the right end does good damage, but you have to have steady aim because you can't just keep firing. And here I'm going to display how the knives got pitiful damage, and because you don't swipe it, you can't like hold multiple enemies down. This is a regenerator. And he just keeps regenerating. I'm just stabbing and stabbing. Putting so much damage in. There we go. Finally the fire does him in. Like, it would be cool if the knife did, like, extra damage. Like, did a good amount of damage. Because it'd be risky. Like, you could do one, you know, flaming knife only games, which would be cool. Yeah, so like they can't seem to decide what these characters should be, and it's really annoying. Like especially with Chris in Resident Evil 7, where he's like, I'm Redfield, and you're like, oh, is he like a different Redfield? Because he looks nothing like Chris. You know, like he looks nothing like him. He's got some other dude's face, and it's weird. But no, it's supposed to be Chris. It's lame. It's weird. Anyway. At least this Jill kind of looks like Jill, you know, like she is different, her face is different, and her design is different, but it's, excuse me, but, it is still Jill, you know, so it's not so terrible. So we're coming out, we have all 3 fuses, now we just gotta get past these guys, which I will do with my awesome, semi-awesome riding gun. I really wish, like a lot of these games, I just wish you could unlock infinite ammo for all the guns. So like you could play the game, like instead of having unlocking an infinite ammo gun or a special like a rocket launcher or whatever. I wish you could unlock. Well, I don't want to take the rocket launchers out because they're cool, right? And the Gatling guns are cool. But like I wish you could unlock infinite ammo for all the regular weapons too. So if there's one you like say you just like the shotgun and you just want to do a full playthrough of the shotgun, you could do that. You know what I mean? Like you'd like the Magnum, that's your favorite gun. You could just, you know, unlock infinite ammo and just go to town. I wish you could do that, but these games don't seem to. They don't seem to let you do that. I'm tired of using assault rifles in Resident Evil games. They never really fit. They never feel good. No assault rifle in any Resident Evil game really feels good at all. Yeah. So, it's lame. I'd rather use the shotgun or the Magnum. I think everyone should have a Magnum that you could play around with because that's cool. It's rewarding. Like when you get a headshot, the head pops open. It's really bloody and gory and cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you the infinite assault rifle, just for kicks and giggles. show off some of the infinite weapons that you can unlock in the game. But yeah, like in Resident Evil 4, like the unlockable weapons were so fun. The only one that felt a little bit off was the PLR, the laser. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, that you can unlock. Like in the original game, the idea was it removed the parasites from within the enemies, which was a cool idea. But the thing is like they didn't react to being hit with the laser. You know, you'd use it and they'd just fall on their knees and die. Which made it feel uncool. You know, like if they had actually this is a laser, and it just burns away whatever it hits, like whatever part of the enemies it hits. That would be amazing. You know, that would be cool. Like if they're just like the little feet with like little toasty outline of where they got discombobulated. If that was left, that would be really cool. But they didn't do that. So now Jill is heading to the super secret lab area that these new remakes have. I gotta say, like, they cut out a lot of content. You know, as a remake of Resident Evil 3, this game lacks in a lot of the... Oh. So he searched that way. Like, he was looking that way, then he turned around, then he turned back, and Nemesis was there, just standing in the hallway. And it slapped him, and now he's stabbed. I don't know. This game's a little, like if Nemesis had bursted out of a wall or something, it would still be stupid. But yeah, well, Jill's safe, and now she's gonna head into a lab that like looks exactly like the lab from RE2 remake. Like it's the same kind of aesthetic, like just white. You know, it's even called Nest 2, which I don't know. This is lame. In the original game, this is the Dead Factory, which is they're like processing all the fucking dead bodies and stuff like that, and there's like it's like a disposal facility, and it looks grimy, it looks gross, it's like run down, it's overwhelmed with like waste and dead bodies and stuff. It looks interesting, you know, and this just looks like the same lab from RE2. Again, and it's really short, and not much happens here. And you know, we've skipped the clock tower, we've skipped we did the hospital, but it was slightly different. But we've skipped the park. We've skipped like the part of the escape from the city where we fight the gravedigger and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff like not in this game. I think the biggest problem is the absence of the choices that you get. Like, you know, in the original Resident Evil 3, you would have these situations where you could pick what Jill would do, or you could take too long, and then you get kind of punished for taking too long. So you have three choices basically, and the game's like narrative would change, like the story would change, and the events would change based on what Jill picked. And that was really cool, man. I forget what that was called. It was like the active decision system or something like that. And it was awesome. And like, if you would think if somebody was gonna remake Resident Evil 3, like remake it, you know, that would be an aspect that they would have to keep in, because that was a cool part of Resident Evil 3. But they just ditch it, man. They just ditch it in this game. Like in Resident Evil 2 Remake, they ditch the zapping system. You know, the two scenarios are basically the same as each other, and there's not much difference. It's just like Mr. X appears in both, and he's just... It's just lame. It's disappointing, you know? Like, there's no difference. There's no point to playing the second scenario. It just unlocks an extra cutscene at the end. You know, you don't come at the police station from a different side. It's the same map. It's just some doors are locked, some doors are not. Oh, I did the dodge roll cut with a knife, and it didn't kill the zombie on standard mode, showing you just how weak the flaming knife is, and how even like when you use it to its fullest, it's not cool. Like, it's so disappointing. So yeah, like these remakes, they don't capture the spirit of the original game, which is what I think a remake should be. And the creators are like, oh no, they're reimagining. So I'm like, fucking, well then don't call it a remake. Say this is Resident Evil 3 but different. You know, don't say this is Resident Evil 3 but better. Like, you know, it's just very, it's kind of frustrating. It's like they don't. Especially because when they redid RE1, like they knocked that shit out of the park. You know, they did such a good job with that. You know, they had everything that the original offered. They made it so beautiful while keeping the same kind of gameplay style. The only thing I miss is the bad dialogue. Like, if they had just kept the same lines, I would have been so happy. But they added all new bad dialogue, so that's fine. But they did that game so well, and then these games they just missed the mark. I don't want to. I've already talked way too much about this because I'm gonna rant about it when the game is over. So to rant about it now and then to re-rant about it. This is another reused asset from Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's like, I don't know. It's really annoying. Like, I understand reusing assets like saves money, but like, you want to spend some money on this. This is RE3. You know, this isn't RE Revelations 3. It's, you know, it's one of the mainline games again that people are looking forward to. A lot of people like RE3 Nemesis. You know, it's not Capcom's favorite, but people enjoy it. And Nemesis is in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and all this stuff. You know. It's a popular game. Like, why wouldn't you want to put your full effort into it? It's frustrating to be a Capcom fan because the minute they seem like they've got it, like they understand, like when they make RE2 Remake and Devil May Cry 5, then they start just shelling out shit again, and you're like, oh come on, why? Like just keep doing what you were doing, you know? Anyway, enough gaming talk. So now Jill is trying to make an antidote. This is a really weird contrivance. It's like they're gonna blow up the city, but they won't blow up the city if they can, or the government is gonna blow up the city, but they won't blow up the city if Jill can deliver them the antidote. Which I don't understand. Like, even if she gives you the antidote, like the city's crawling with zombies, like what are you gonna cure them all? Like, oh, we won't blow it up, or they'll delay it or something. I don't know. It's dumb. It's dumb. It says something when the original from the 1990s, I think, right? Resident Evil 3 must have been still from the 90s. I don't think it was 2000 yet, but like it says something when the older game has a better plot than the remake, right? Resident Evil 2 was the same way. Like, they changed all this stuff in Resident Evil 2 Remake to make it more, I guess, realistic. But they ended up making it, like, more confusing, and it made less sense than the original. You know, like, Annette dies in both scenarios in this one, and it's just weird. Like, things are happening at the same time, the characters don't run into each other, it's... They don't care. Like, Claire doesn't care about Leon. I have some problems with these remade games. Like, I feel like they didn't care. And in Final Fantasy VII, like, they did care, but then they also, like, just made some poor decisions, which I guess I'll leave it for my Final Fantasy VII videos to talk about that, which are still delayed due to computer issues and me moving and having a full-time job and just not being able to do this full-time. Also, not personal like issues too, like just not being able to sit and just concentrate on doing this kind of stuff is probably one of the bigger issues I'm having. So anyway, here's some Nemesis zombies for no reason. Like, he's not around here. Like, how did he make these? They're here because, like, they're just throwing enemy types into the game. Like, that's another thing. Like, it feels like Capcom gave them the assets, and the team that put this together were just like, oh, let's just put some zombies here, and then we'll put some here, and then we'll put some here. Like in RE2 Remake, it's like they thought... I gotta stop saying like, or I'm gonna fucking kick myself in the head. In RE2 Remake, they thought about the enemy placement to a degree. So they think about how you're going to enter a room and like which way you're going to be looking and how difficult the enemies are to beat. And you know, like you could feel that. But in this game, they just... It's like they're playing Mastermind in Resident Evil Resistance, and they're just like throwing stuff around. That's really weird. Oof, excuse me. Alright, so I've got the two components of the cure, and now I'm going to go mix them. Yep, there we go. And then I gotta go put them in the machine to create the cure to the virus that we're going to give to the government. I'm sure they'll be totally cool and they won't experiment on us or anything like that. I'm going to eat a cookie while I'm doing this because I don't care anymore. Oh, there's some hunters. I shoot them with the gun, which you can plainly see. That's another thing too, is they, instead of it being the revolver magnum, it's like just the gun from Resident Evil 2, like they just reuse everything. Come on, man. Oh, I have to go cookie. I love these Pepperidge Farm cookies, the big ones, they're fantastic. Perfect for watching a video game and chewing right into the mic. Oh yeah.
To begin vaccine synthesis,
that's the good stuff.
materials in the chamber.
So, here's another thing. Here's the last puzzle. There you go. One of two actual puzzles that are in the game. And the first one is, can you copy the answer from this board to this computer? And this one is just randomly hit buttons until you find the right combination. Lots of fun. Here's some more tentacle porn, because the creators of this game were definitely into that. I think from this point forward, I'm just on this set path to like the end of the game, which isn't a big deal. But like in the original games, you kind of have to find your way to the exit. You know, that is not how that would work. That would just put a hole in the tank, and it would not explode. I feel like at this point everybody has watched this Mythbusters episodes and realized that bullets do not make things explode. They just put holes in things. But movies and video games continue to ignore that. Alright, so here, so it's going to give me one safe room, and then a boss fight, and then another safe room, and then a boss fight. So I'm just organized. The hot dogger. I forgot the name of the knife. It's hot dogger. At least that's entertaining. I hope my voice is not too loud now, because in the last few videos it was too low, so I might be overcompensating. And the mic might be too close, and now I'm just really, really loud. Which I'm sorry, but just adjust your volume. I am not professional at all. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just eating now. Because I've given up. Because I've recorded this twice already. This is way too much time of me. This is way too much time of me just, way too much video of me just gearing up for this fight. Which, isn't even going to be in this video.
What in God's name is this place?
So I'm just gonna go forward, and oh look, there's tanks, and oh, he's coming, he's going through the wall. He's very angry, and he's weirdly mutated. Oh no, I'm gonna have to do a boss fight. Oh, how did you even get here?
The city needs that vaccine.
More than I do.
Oh, I'm very typical
I
villain.
don't think.
Which is okay, right?
Mr.
Resident Evil has
I'm
these
trying
kind
to impart on you is
of
getting
cliche
sour.
villains.
Now,
So I can't really
know
complain
you
about
can't
that.
put a price on life.
But I think when everything else is so hyper realistic,
I'm in this business
Having-
to get paid.
having the villain
So
be
let's
like,
make a deal.
I'm evil, look at me
Go down
twirl
there,
my mustache,
settle the nemesis,
is kind of
and I'll recall it all and sell the combat
silly.
down.
Like, more silly.
Put on a good show, and maybe I don't need the
Alright,
vaccine.
I think we're coming to the end of this video.
Good.
So next time you'll see me struggle horribly against this boss, I think, unless those videos were lost. In which case you will see me succeed. See you guys then, and bye-bye.